Okay, so like, are you ready to get a little bit morbid and maybe like totally empowered at the same time?
I am so ready. Bring on the darkness and the self-love.
That's exactly the vibe we're going for today, because we're going deep, deep, deep into this book.
Stay sexy and don't get murdered. Classic.
By, of course, Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark.
The queens of true crime comedy from their amazing podcast, My Favorite Murder.
Exactly. And you know what? This book, it's like way more than just true crime.
Oh, for sure. It's like self-help, but make it, actually fun and relatable.
Totally. It's like they took all the best parts of personal development and sprinkled in like true crime wisdom and a whole lot of dark humor.
And honestly, who doesn't love a good dose of dark humor?
Especially when it comes to like facing our fears and stuff, you know?
Right, because life can be kind of terrifying sometimes, and why not laugh about it a little?
Exactly. And that's kind of what Karen and Georgia are all about. Like, they don't shy away from the dark stuff.
No, they totally embrace it.
But they also show you how to like find strength in those experiences and use them to become, the best version of yourself.
And that's the core message of the book, right?
Absolutely. It's all about owning your past, advocating for yourself, and like trusting your gut instincts no matter what.
And learning to stay sexy, which, let's be real, is such a brilliant way to frame it.
Right. It's like so catchy, but it's so much deeper than just like looks or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. It's about cultivating that inner confidence and self-awareness that radiates outwards.
And it's about recognizing your worth, like not settling for anything less than you deserve.
And sometimes that means setting some serious boundaries.
Which brings us to one of my absolute favorite parts of the book, their whole fake politeness philosophy.
Yes. That's such a powerful concept. They're basically saying, screw those social norms that tell us to be nice, even when we feel uncomfortable or unsafe.
Right. Like sometimes you got to prioritize your safety over being polite.
Especially in situations that feel, just a little bit off.
Yeah, like when your gut is screaming at you to get out of there.
Exactly. And they really encourage, especially women, to trust that instinct and, not be afraid to speak up or set boundaries.
Which can be so hard,
Yeah.
Like we're often conditioned to be people pleasers.
Totally. But they're like, nope, your safety and well-being come first, always.
And they make this whole like heavy topic so much easier to digest with their like signature humor.
Oh, absolutely. The way they talk about therapy and working through your issues, it's hilarious and relatable.
They're your like super funny best friends who are also like wise and supportive.
But some people might say, isn't using humor kind of trivializing serious issues?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like it's a fine line. But I think the way they do it, it's more about making those tough topics less intimidating,
Yeah, I get that. And they're also super open and honest about their own struggles.
Totally. They talk about everything from like addiction and eating disorders to like toxic relationships.
And it's that vulnerability, that makes them so relatable.
And it creates this amazing sense of community.
Right. They really emphasize finding your tribe and sharing your experiences, whether good or bad.
Which is actually like the whole foundation of their podcast.
Exactly. It's all about connecting with others who get it, who've been through similar stuff.
And they bring that same sense of community to the book. They're like, hey, we're all in this crazy world together, so let's support each other.
And they use true crime as this framework for teaching us how to stay safe and look out for one another.
Which is like so smart. They're basically saying, learn from these cases so you don't become a statistic.
Yeah. And they offer practical advice on being aware of your surroundings, trusting your gut, and just being prepared.
So it's like empowering and entertaining at the same time.
Which honestly is the best combination.
Right. They're like, stay informed, stay aware, and for goodness sakes, stay sexy.
So after this deep dive, do you think you might approach things a bit differently, in terms of setting boundaries or trusting your instincts?
Totally. Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered is a must-read if you want to, laugh, learn, and maybe even feel a little bit braver in your everyday life.
I couldn't agree more.
Huge thanks to Expert Speaker for sharing their awesome insights.
Anytime.
And to all you amazing listeners out there, stay curious, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.